So you were saying about some cringe encounter you had?
Not me personally. It was on Twitter.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah. Well, it happened at a Lego store in Atlanta or something. I don't know. Some Lego store. It's in some part of America. And this father, he confronted the store employees for promoting LGBTQ agenda.
oh, I saw this video.
Yeah.
It was really really bad.
I'll play a little clip just so everyone's brushed up.
But the question is, why are you all in here with those pins on? Do you think children care about what man sucks at home and what girl eats vaginas at
Time to
home?
leave, man.
Do you think they care about
It's time
that?
to leave, man.
Do you think they
I
care?
don't think they think about that personally.
Right, so why would they think about it when they see your
No, they
pin?
don't. It's time to leave.
Yes, they do.
time to
It's
leave, guys. I'm
disgusting.
gonna call security.
That's called grooming.
All right, did y'all mind leaving?
Yeah, if you call security, tell security that you're
Absolutely.
in here
You call security.
wearing a pride flag
Absolutely. We will let
on
them
your
know.
shirt.
Come on, guys. It's time to leave.
You know what's amazing? Most children don't know. He's been educated by me. I think it's grooming. It's borderline pedophilia and child abuse for these weirdos to come in here and wear that, and at the same time, kids buy from the store. When does it stop? I'm sick and tired.
He's sick and tired of it, dude. This guy posted it to his like Twitter. Like this guy thought he owned these guys.
Oh.
Like this isn't footage that was like released like some guy filming this dude like from the side as this like interaction is happening. Like this is from the guy.
Yeah, he's like proud of it.
Yeah. He's actually proud, yeah, like of like what he did there. Mm-hmm. He goes, he's like I wish you guys could see the video because like the faces of these, I'll link it in the description, but the faces of these like employees it says it all.
Yeah, they just look really like tired and disappointed.
They've got like the teeniest, tiniest like LGBTQ like flag pin among like a bunch of other pins, and the guy's like, when the kids see that, all they can think about is sucking dick.
I know, it's like no one was thinking about that until you brought it up. Okay.
All I can think about is caressing those soft, buttery balls. All I can think about is just fucking men, and God, it's disgusting thinking about it all the time. It's like, bro, you're making a straight up fool of yourself.
I know. It's like everyone is here just trying to have a chill time at the Lego store.
Right.
And you are being the problem.
This society needs to wake up. Wake up, everybody. They're selling drugs and pedophilia to children.
You know, like
Because every Lego box comes with a joint. Just tucked
yeah.
inside the pages of the instructions. Mm-hmm. They're selling dope to the kids. And like I feel for the guy, because like he really does like feel passionately about this. Like he's convinced himself. He's been convinced by things he's read online, and he's been confused and confuddled. And hopefully one day he'll unsnare himself from this like kind of labyrinth of a mind that he's lost himself in.
yeah.
I really do wish that upon him. Because, you can tell he's struggling.
Yeah.
It's like heavy breathing. It's like panting. And he'd probably be a cool guy if he just like opened his mind a little bit. But his head is a steel trap.
What are people saying like in the
Oh, this is so
comments
funny.
and
I
stuff?
know. I'm just like, I love Twitter now because like I get all these like recommendations. Like they changed it around a little bit after Elon Musk took over. And now it shows me things that like it thinks I might like. I don't know if it always did that, but like they've kind of put it more in the forefront now. So now when I browse Twitter, it's not just like random people I follow anymore. It's like other stuff that I don't know about, but might be kind of aligning in my interests. So this is perfect. This is posted from Jay Ong. He said, "America, what the fuck? Go to therapy." Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's embarrassing, right? Like nationally, like as a country. Um, I stopped buying Legos for my kids when they dropped the policeman Lego. There was no point in that.
So this guy's on the side.
Yeah, no, there's definitely like a lively debate happening.
This guy's
It's
on.
not
That
all
guy,
just shitting in the sky.
wow.
He's got his defenders
He's
for
wow.
sure.
He's got supporters.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, I mean it's 2023, but this is still a very heated argument. Gay people? Oh my god. A man with another man? I've never heard of such a thing. How will they make babies? They won't. Oh no. Yeah, they never stopped making the policeman Lego. This is something that like conservative AFOLs love to tout, but it's like no. They
Conservative A-fools.
Yeah, the conservative AFOLs. Yeah.
Wow. What like a niche.
Mm-hmm.
What a corner.
They're mostly liberal, but they are out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. The policeman Lego. I guess he's not. He's an ex AFOL, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because during the whole like riots and stuff a couple of years ago, with the how the police were killing a lot of black people and people are kind of pissed off about that. Lego was like, maybe we shouldn't make like Lego policemen for a while. Or like I don't know what the official term they used was, but like I think they suspended it. But they didn't really, because like there's you can go buy policeman sets right now. They never like stopped. But that was reported on. It might have not even come from Lego. CNN might have just said that, and then people ran with it. And it's like 2 years later, they still remember it, and like as if it was fact. Like the further away we get from whatever headline they read, it's like a game of telephone throughout the century. Like the further away we get from whatever random shit they consumed at that point in time, the more it solidifies in their mind as like a fact, like it happened. Like it might as well have happened, because most people will just retweet it and say it anyway. Yeah, Kendall says, stepping aside the fact that there are no less than 15 different police sets actively for sale on the Lego website, there isn't a single person on God's green earth that believes you still had kids young enough to play with Legos in 2020, lady. Damn.
Whoa.
They included a picture of her.
Whoa. Wow, that was like a personal attack.
Yeah, they took it personal. This is why I love Twitter. Yeah.
Damn.
But no, that's true. Like her story doesn't really check out. I mean, she probably could have said it in a nicer way, but, yeah, like how would this lady, for my kids, I mean, she could still be buying her kids Lego when they're like in their 30s or whatever.
I mean, she doesn't look like that old.
Wish you guys could see this picture, but this lady looks pretty old. She's like all white, the kind of old white lady who's just all white. Mm-hmm. All her hair.
I wonder
everything.
what I'm gonna look like when I'm old. Like, am I gonna have all white hair, or am I gonna have gray hair?
Honestly, that's pretty sick for like an old lady to have like all like stark white hair.
Yeah.
Like long stark white hair. That's fucking cool. You look like a ghost or a specter.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be the look I would prefer for you. All right. The person yelling sucking cocks and eating vaginas in a toy store is the person, this is the most based comment, is the person being inappropriate in front of kids.
Literally, I know, it's like you are so like extreme in your position that you're somehow like the problem that you're exactly having with these people. Like, you know what I mean?
It looped back around.
Yeah.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, kind of like when liberals are like so like, pro inclusivity that they actually start excluding people.
Yeah.
And like they're so anti-racist that they loop back around and become racist again. Uh-huh. That's kind of what's happening to this
happens.
guy.
That's just what happens to people. Like,
people
they
take
get
it too
so
far.
absorbed in a particular ideology that it just loops back around and they become the monster that they want to kill.
You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
No, yeah, literally. It's true. It's true.
Harvey Dent's immortal words. You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself get your fucking face burned off and become Two-Face. All right. I love this part. She goes, "It's very simple. The dad is the danger to kids here. I would not want my child, who has 2 moms, to hear that trash." Let's see. Yeah, I mean, people just kind of basically explaining why, this guy's wrong. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Morgan says, conservatives are now at the why don't Lego figures have giant cocks phase of things. Yeah, Lego just opened up a brand new spanking factory. Did you hear about this?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, they just broke ground on their new carbon neutral run Lego factory in Virginia.
Wow.
Yeah, that's right in David's backyard. David Hall, he's one of my Lego buddies. He's a Lego freak. And they just built a freaking factory in his backyard. Good for him. We've also committed $1 million USD to support local organizations that provide learning through play experiences to children from undeserved communities. I'm just imagining like David in like one of those like little like spinny like little boy hats, like pretending to be a child so he can like get into the the Lego Center to like steal some Lego. No, like that would be the heist of the century though, right? Like you break into a Lego factory at the dead of night, just load up, get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Some people did it a few years back and they got caught.
Oh, yeah. You told me about that.
Yeah, but they're probably stupid. I would do it perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably frame it on some homeless guy. Get the DNA, just like Dexter.
Yeah. Instead of like murdering people and then you're somehow getting away with it, you're just stealing Lego.
I'm not killing anyone. I might send a homeless guy or 2 to jail, but sometimes that's the price you got to pay for your Lego. Yeah, I mean, do you want to move on to our next topic?
Sure.
Or do you have anything else to say about that Lego guy?
Oh, no.
Fuck him.
Honestly, he seems like he's struggling.
Yeah.
And he does deserve our sympathy, even though he's nuts.
Fuck him, but at the same time, like, I hope you get better, man.
Yeah.
Fuck that person that you're being, but
Yeah.
don't fuck that person that you could be.
Exactly.
All right. Quentin Tarantino says sex is not part of his vision of cinema. It's a pain to shoot sex scenes. Wait, I'm going to do it like Quentin. It's a pain to shoot sex scenes. If there had ever been a sex scene that was essential to the story, I would have. But so far, it hasn't been necessary. And then, yeah, I kind of just wanted to read this one off because people in the comments were being stupid and just like had like the worst takes.
So you're going to read
Yeah.
comments from that
Yeah, it was just like getting my blood pressure
statement.
up.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I just want to get your take on these as well.
Mm-hmm.
So all the racial slurs are necessary then? Fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these people think they know better than Quentin?
You don't.
You absolutely don't. I'm sorry. Who has, like, the most successful, like, directing career, like, one of the most successful directing careers in history? Who's, like, a household name director? Obviously, like, Quentin knows, like, kind of like what he's doing at this point.
Mm-hmm.
He's what they call tried and true.
Well, this person thinks that, despite all of that, maybe it's unnecessary to put in racial slurs in your script.
Yeah, this person knows what they're talking about. Yeah. He still finds rape to be plenty necessary, though. Interesting.
Why do people hate
Dude,
Quentin?
I know, dude. It's like his movies kick ass.
It's literally like it's so funny. I love reading comments on things. Like people are just so people
I'm like
are just
addicted to
so full of like hatred and like spite and like just like like it's just so funny sometimes. Like
I know.
they're just like these people are just like sitting like waiting to like just write some little nasty comment about someone. It's hilarious.
I love Quentin too, because he's always upsetting people. You know, and that's good. I think that's good for people.
Yeah, definitely. I love that one interview with him where someone was like, "Why do you have to have violence in your movies?" And he was like, "Because it's so much fun."
Yeah, his next movie is about a movie critic,
Uh-huh.
a female movie critic,
Oh, nice.
and apparently, like, yeah, I hope it's based on that interview. Like what if he like casts that lady?
I love Quentin too. There was like this one video I saw of him where like a paparazzi was harassing him and he just like smacks the camera. I just like love how aggressive he is. Like
Yeah.
we have the same like Myers-Briggs personality type.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. What was that like what's that personality type?
ENFP.
Right.
I might be a different one now. Like I think my personality has changed a lot over the years, like since I became a mom and stuff. But at one time,
Yeah. Right.
we were both ENFPs.
Yeah, he's got a kid now too. He just had his kid a couple years ago, I think. So he's a father. And he did an interview recently where he was like, they're asking him like what movies his kids like, and he said he like watches Despicable Me films with his kids.
Yeah, Despicable Me.
It's pretty cute. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there isn't much sex in Tarantino's filmography. People are pointing out, you know, his foot fetish, his established foot fetish. Yeah, I mean, once you shoot the feet, you know, you don't need to do anything else, right? Like, get in, get out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't need to, you know, get the girl completely undressed. I think Quentin, like, you know, he those are his sex scenes, basically. Like, I think that's all he needs.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Yeah, there's that 3-second scene of Goebbels plowing his translator. But that was kind of more of a gag. Do you remember this moment from Inglourious Bastards?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of like a funny moment.
Mm-hmm.
Someone said, so the feet shots were essential to the story? And yeah, it just kind of like brings up an interesting question. Like, what is essential to a story?
Yeah. Like, the thing is like, nothing is essential to anything. You don't have, like, people don't have to make movies. People don't have to make art.
Right. It's all an expression.
That's, like, the wrong question. Like, you don't really, you don't have to do anything. Like, you put, like, a scene in a movie to express something.
It's not a utility.
Yeah.
It's like people kind of come at it, yeah, like kind of film illiterate people come at it with this like sense that like it's a product. Like I'm paying money to go to a cinema to be entertained.
And I think like I think like if you're gonna say like you have something is necessary to be in a movie or whatever, it's like what do you have to put in your movie to like elicit the emotional response that you want out of your audience? And so yeah, in that case, like if you think of it like that, then there are some things that are necessary. And so yeah, I guess Quentin just like never felt that he wanted to elicit like that kind of response like from his audience.
Right.
Like or like the response that he wants from his audience, like he doesn't need to have like a, you know, kind of like a traditional like sex scene in his movie, but he needs like feet shots and stuff, or like shots of like, you know, like just like cute girls. I'm thinking like in like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, there's like ass shots and like stuff, and it's like that's like he wants like that. He's going for a certain vibe and trying to get like a certain feeling, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he just isn't as interested in like trying to like turn the audience on constantly. Like I'm trying to think like what is like a good like sex scene kind of movie.
I just think like like if you're trying to like say something about a character or kind of like portray, you know, someone maybe like how one character sees another character, I guess. Like I don't know, like if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, like yeah, like kind of like the hippie chick that Brad Pitt picks up.
Mhm.
You know, she like offers to suck his dick, and it's like she's got like a thing for him, and he, you know, obviously he's got like a thing for her. So kind of like, you know, showing them both looking hot is kind of like important to like establish that chemistry.
Mhm.
If he looked like, you know, if he wasn't Brad Pitt and he was dressed like shitty or something, he was a bum, you know, you wouldn't get that same energy or vibe. They both have to look like sexy
Mhm.
in order for that, you know, element of the story to work.
Mhm.
So in that sense, it definitely is essential if you're talking about, yeah, like what the characters want and what you're trying to show. These people are like mongoloids. These people on Twitter, they don't know anything.
What do you mean?
They're like half like alive. Like their brains don't function. When is sex when is sex ever essential to a
Like
story?
what? Like are you like what the fuck is wrong with you?
They're like aliens.
Are you like some pilgrim? Like what's going on with you?
Yeah, like they're fresh off the Mayflower.
Yeah.
Like if you utter the word sex from your lips, you're gonna go straight to the fiery hell.
Yeah, like are you some like I don't know, like 15th century like bishop or something? Like what are you talking about? Like do
Yeah.
you not you don't like you don't find like sex scenes like juicy or exciting?
I think they probably make people feel uncomfortable because
Yeah.
a lot of people don't have like a mastery over their like sexual feelings in their own mind. So like when other people confront them with sexual imagery, they just think it's like bad because it gives them like bad feelings. It's kind of like reflective of how they feel about sex in general, rather than like them being kind of, you know, offended for somebody or like, because like, yeah, like it is necessary for the film because the director decided it was necessary. You either like the movie or you don't. The movie either connects with you or you don't. But you don't argue the merits of like if this was necessary. I know that's the whole concept of like, you know, it substitutes sex for anything.
Like that's what I'm saying. I just feel like
bizarre.
nothing is necessary.
Yeah.
Like if you're if you're like watching a movie or like creating a movie, like you are in a position of like luxury and like overabundance. Like you
Definitely.
have like all this like resources to make like art. So it's kind of just like, yeah, like what like nothing is necessary.
Yeah, so when you single out sex, you're basically just saying you're like a sexless like weirdo
Yeah.
who's afraid of it.
Yeah, because it's like you don't have to make stories about anything. Like you get to watch them.
Just don't watch sexy movies, but don't like pretend like they don't need to be made.
Yeah.
Like I guess like The Bodyguard would be a good example of a movie that would need like a sex scene because it's all about their like steamy romance.
Yeah, like that's what I'm talking about. I just feel like sex scenes are really important to like to set the tone and the vibe of like relationships.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have ever had sex, but it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah. Like
It's important. It's like if a character got shot, but they didn't show it. I mean, sometimes they do that, and they do that same thing with sex scenes.
Yeah.
But if you want to feel it and be in the moment and with the characters, you're not trying to be all like avant-garde about it. Then you'll probably show like the dramatic points in your film. And a sex scene is definitely a very like dramatic high that you want to like capture.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Yeah, you're so right. It's like, I mean, I guess they might say like, oh, can't you just like imply that they had sex?
I'd
But
say in
then-
most cases that's kind of what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just only in like certain movies
I
where
guess
they
like
actually show the sex scenes.
maybe like a better question would be like is nudity necessary?
Yeah. A lot of people,
Because like that's
on
more
Twitter-
controversial. Because like I feel like a sex scene where it's like, it's like, oh, like they kissed and then it's just like heavily implied that they fuck,
yeah.
and it's like that's like less controversial than like nudity.
Yeah, some people have a real big stick up their ass
I
about
know,
nudity.
I know.
It's so weird.
I know. It's
Yeah,
insane.
it does feel like we're regressing to the Pilgrim times.
Yeah.
It's like
I think it's like
nerds.
It's like this. Yeah, it's weird. It's kind of like this like hatred of like men, I feel like, and like infantilization of women.
Ding ding ding.
It's like women are too stupid to like make their own choices.
They're going to be pressured by men into
Yeah.
doing things that they don't really want to do.
Yeah,
Even though they said they did.
And we don't want women. We don't want like men to be happy.
Yeah.
Or
Why would you
like,
want to gratify a male
want,
urge?
Yeah, we don't want men to feel pleasure or anything. So, keep your clothes on, you slut, basically.
Yeah, it's like reinforcing this like transactional like system of like, yeah, like women are valuable like when they have not shown their tits, but when they have shown them, now they're worth less as a human.
Mm-hmm.
Now their value has decreased. It's really like not right in the head if you actually think about it. Like what it means to like slut shame someone, or to like pretend that like women who are in porn or do nudity of any kind are like victims or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Just like inherently. I mean, because obviously like bad shit goes on in Hollywood all the time, so I understand where people get this like idea from, but it's not like a blanket thing that you can just be like all nudity is bad, because nudity is like really beautiful and like really important to a lot of movies, and like I think it's super cool to like kind of immortalize the human body and to take pleasure in viewing it. Yeah, it's just like anything, like you want to capture beauty. That's what film is all about. You're like taking something that is that exists now in the present, and you're preserving it forever because you like it so much. You want other people to see it in the future. It's just like the fundamentals of film. It's all, I shouldn't have to explain this to people, but people on Twitter.
Like, I think a good example of, I mean, I don't know if this was like controversial or anything, but I think a good example of nudity that was quote necessary to kind of like portray an idea or like get your like emotions like on par with what like the director wanted, was maybe like in Game of Thrones. Okay, like spoiler for Game of Thrones, I guess like season like 6 or 7. But like remember when like Cersei had to like walk through like King's Landing like naked?
Yeah.
I just feel like that was such like, I was like, holy shit. Like I was like that, I like my jaw was like on the floor. Like, you know what I mean? And I feel like it had to be that way. Like it had to be like really like humiliating, and like you had to feel like really emotional about it. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's what they were going for. Like they wanted you to feel like, I mean, at least that's how I thought. Like,
yeah, if they had covered it, PG-13 style, it wouldn't have had near as much of an impact, because you wouldn't be like empathizing with her as much.
yeah.
It would be like you're viewing it from a distance instead of being right there with her, or like being her. It's hard to put yourself in someone else's shoes when you're like viewing it obstructed. There's a person in front of her, or there's a bedpost, or you want to be up in there, like up in the action. Like that's why like action movies, a lot of times they're like shot like close to the characters. Like they're not shot in masters. You don't shoot an entire action scene in a wide angle view from a distance with shit in front of what's happening. You want to see what's happening. So
And yeah, she's
important.
just like someone who like is just like not vulnerable like at all. Like she's like extremely guarded and like always has like, you know, like she literally wears like armor and stuff, you know what I mean? Like metal like plates like over her like dresses.
yeah,
like,
she's
you
a
know
great
what I
character.
mean?
I love Lena Headey so much.
I
dude.
know, she's great.
She's so
So
good.
like this scene where she's like naked, like extremely vulnerable, because it's like if I had to do this like punishment or whatever, like I would just like be like whatever about it. But I feel like Cersei, she's like totally like not like that. Like she's very like, and she's extremely prideful. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like, yeah, that was necessary in my opinion.
Yeah, I wish she had actually done it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care, I guess, but yeah.
Because for
That
me,
would've
it's
been
like
cool.
the effects, you know, I'm just like really detail oriented. And like when I look at, you know, comps and VFX, like I can tell like most of the time. Yeah, probably, you know, obviously if I can't tell, then I would never have known. But with that, you can kind of see like where the seam is, you know, breaking between her face and the body double that they tracked her onto.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, it just takes you out of the scene a little bit. It would have been cool if she had done it.
I don't like really agree. Like I didn't notice anything.
That's good. Yeah, I feel like most people probably wouldn't.
I just feel like if I were Lena Headey, I would have just done it.
Right. That's what I'm
Because like
saying.
I just feel like I would just want to fully commit to the role, and like really put myself like in my character's like shoes.
Yeah.
And like physically feel like how she would have been like feeling. You know?
Yeah, it's like a hell of an acting
Yeah.
like experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it would be scary. It'd be terrifying, but that's kind of like what is fun about being an actor.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of embracing challenges like that.
Yeah, I just feel like that would. Yeah, you're right. It would just be such like an iconic moment for you.
Yeah.
Like remember you did that scene or whatever.
Maybe she was worried it was going to turn out like exploitative or shitty or something. But
Yeah.
I thought it was really well done.
Yeah, me too.
Like
Because yeah, like
it went on just long enough, like
Yeah.
as it needed to. I feel like the editing was really tight, and yeah, it was like really impactful and made you like empathize and like feel really bad for her, even though she's like such a horrible bitch.
and you just like knew like when she like when she like when it was over, like you were just like, oh man, like oh shit, like
Yeah, now she's gonna come back like with a fury. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, like you just knew like nothing good was gonna happen to to that guy.
The High Sparrow.
Yeah,
Oh my god, that whole plot line was so fucked.
I know.
Yeah, yeah, she had to like step over like broken glass and shit. Her feet were all bleeding and everything.
Yeah, men were like jerking off of her and stuff.
Oh
like,
yeah, that was disgusting. Yeah, it was a great scene. Yeah, I think that's a good example.
And then I guess like an example that I think of when I think of like nudity, but like in a more positive, normal, traditional, like sexual way, would be just like I always think of like in Euphoria, like Sydney Sweeney. Like there's like lots of nude scenes with her, and
People hate that.
I know, and yeah, obviously.
People on Twitter are like, "Oh my god,
Like,
she's being raped."
But there's like a scene in like season 2 of Euphoria where like Nate is like talking about, or it's like kind of like Nate's perspective, and like basically he's just saying how like he thinks that she's like the perfect woman, like, you know what I mean? So it's like I feel like it is like impactful to have like her, you know, in like sexy situations, or even, you know, like nude, like when they're like kind of like just talking about like, oh, she's just like perfect, like all the, like inside and out, like just like, you know what I mean?
The
Like
whole show's about sex.
yeah,
It's like an integral part. The whole show's about like maximalism.
yeah,
Is that how you say the word? Maximalism?
yeah,
It's a new word for me. I learned it recently. Where it's about hitting you with as much strong imagery and sound as physically possible in a space of an hour.
mm-hmm.
They're throwing everything at you.
It's true.
It's a very intense show.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what it's known for. That's its style.
It's very like visually stimulating, like in every way. Like,
If it didn't have the nudity, it would be a completely different show. It would be like a show that's like more playing it safe, less edgy.
they had like dicks too. Like there's like a guy
Yeah.
like there's penises.
There's like lots of gay shit, lots of straight shit, lots of ugly people, lots
And
of
I
pretty
also
people.
think like you can think about it
It's
like
the extremes of everything.
yeah, and just like her character Cassie, like she kind of has like just like a complex where she kind of only feels like valuable like because of her like hotness, you know what I mean? Like guys have just like made her feel like she's only worth, you know, worthy because of how pretty she is, you know? And I feel like that kind of like exaggerates that too. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like having her like nude or whatever, it's like kind of yeah, it just like all plays together to create like this narrative and like you feel these like emotions about it too. And yeah, I just feel like if we weren't allowed to show like nudity or whatever, it just wouldn't have the same like impact, I think.
Yeah, it's an adult show for adults.
Mm-hmm.
So adults, oftentimes, we take off our clothes. So when we create shows, we try to portray real life.
I guess people have an issue because like in Euphoria they're supposed to be like high schoolers, even though all the actors are like in their 20s. Like they're playing high schoolers.
These people on Twitter, like, it gets my fucking blood boiling because they watch the show and then they complain about like integral parts like that.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, I can't believe these sick fuckers. This Sam Levinson would write a sex scene between two teenagers. Then don't watch the show. You're obviously like watching it, like tweeting, like live tweeting, like the premiere episode. You crazy fucker.
Yeah.
It's like you're supporting it, but then you're like complaining about like it's set in a high school. It's not just like an episode where that happens. Like it's about teenagers having sex. It's not about like thinking about like, oh, like these teenagers are having sex, like that's so hot. It's supposed to, it's like you like relating to it like as if like you were in high school, like you like this is like how you probably felt or like how you like wanted to feel or whatever, and it's like you're like relating to them in that way, like you're not like, I mean like you are jerking off to it or whatever because like the actors are hot, but it's not like. It like the sexual element I don't think comes from like them being in high school. You know what I mean? Like I don't think that's like part of what Sam Livingston is like trying to elicit out of the audience. Like he's not trying to turn people into like pedophiles or anything. He's like, or he would, you know, cast like young actors. Like he's obviously casting like aged up actors because he wants to tell a story about this time in someone's life. Like high school is a really like formative time. So like that's why we tell stories set in high school, because it's like emotions are really high and it's relatable. People just like, I don't know. They watch these shows, they watch these movies, and they have the gall to complain about them. They just need to be more grateful. They're getting great content. Euphoria is a great show. I just think about, I always like go on Twitter after an episode of Euphoria and people are like always bitching about it. But it's got like a ton of buzz. Like people like love talking about it. But yeah, I feel like people, they can't even really talk about like what they like anymore. Mm-hmm. Like people can't just sit back and be grateful and just have a discussion about all the positives.
That's so true. That is so true.
Everyone's got to have like a negative take on everything.
It like surprises me that people like didn't like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, Game of Thrones, like people really didn't like the ending, but I thought it was good. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Game of Thrones is I just feel like such a good show from beginning to end.
We've been watching Dexter, and we literally like only watch like half of every episode because half of it is just so bad. It's like unwatchably bad.
Yeah, it's a good show except for all the scenes with LaGuerta and Angel. They're just like, the writers don't know what to do with them, so they're just giving them all these like B plots that suck. But
It's
if you
literally
cut
a
all that stuff
separate
out,
show.
it's a great show. Yeah, yeah. If you think of it as two different shows, it's easier, and you can just fast forward through their parts because it never relates to the other story. Unlike Game of Thrones, where everything is like really interconnected.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like people need to be like, just take a chill pill, chill out, and just
if you don't
you don't like a show,
something,
just
just
don't
don't watch it. Yeah, like it's just like if it's not your cup of tea, just like let people enjoy their thing.
Yeah,
like
don't make grandiose statements like sex isn't necessary. When is sex ever necessary in a film?
like what kind of question is that?
Nudity is never necessary in a
What, like-
movie. That's like saying
Like,
like,
you're
the color
literally-
red is not necessary in a
You're
movie.
starting
or like
to sound
in a painting.
You're starting to sound like if you go further down this rabbit hole, you're gonna start being like, why do women have to wear bikinis at the pool?
Right. You can take this logic
why-
train all the way down to the fucking end of line.
Yeah, like why do women have to wear shorts outside? Women should wear like skirts, like long skirts.
They should be fined if they're found in anything other than a fucking hijab.
Literally, that is the rabbit hole you are going down. If you're like if you find yourself like, wishing that nudity wasn't in like film, or like judging people for like watching movies with like nudity in it or whatever, it's like you're starting to sound like a freaking like yeah, like just some super like conservative like even though it's so weird, it's like they start liberal. It's always like liberals these days who like don't want to see like nudity and sex.
Yeah.
It's like everyone's a prude now. It's crazy.
I mean, yeah, traditionally it was like conservatives who didn't like the nudity and sex.
Well, yeah, they still don't, but now it's like a whole new angle. It's coming up like the same issue from like a whole new angle of like just it's basically just like they don't want like men to see women nude and take pleasure in it, and then they just like think that women like cannot possibly consent to that.
Right.
Like, it's bizarre.
Yeah, they're always being taken advantage of. Women are always the victims. Men are always the aggressors.
Yeah.
Which like reinforces like a stereotype that it like perpetuates a stereotype that they're supposedly trying to like dismantle.
Mm-hmm.
Bait.
Yeah, it's such bait.
Yeah. Man, I mean, that's why I love Twitter though, because I can go in and I can have my like little snack, my little cheese and apple, and just read a couple of conversations.
That like reminds me of like there's like this narrative from kind of like anti-porn people, that this one porn star like Lana Rhoades, she's like on Pornhub, she's a porn star, like she apparently doesn't do like in studio like porn anymore. I don't know if she does it at all, but like she actually is like an owner of a porn like website. I guess like not like a porn website, but like a nude like photo website. It's kind of like OnlyFans, but there's no like penetrative sex like allowed on it. It's all just like kind of like nude photos, if that makes sense. And it's like, so she like owns this website, and people still try to like spin. She owns this website, but she's against like in studio like porn, where like, because she thinks it just like leaves a lot of room for like women to be, like abused, or maybe not abused, but just like taken advantage of.
Yeah, the whole like in studio porn thing is like kind of bait, because you can just do that shit on your own now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like YouTube.
Yeah,
like you used to have to go to Hollywood, and now you can just post your own stuff on YouTube. The same with porn.
Yeah, exactly. Because she was saying how, like, she just felt like when she was doing, like, in-studio porn, like, there were times where she didn't know who she was going to be fucking until she, like, got there. And then, like, when she got there, she was kind of like, oh, like, I don't really want to fuck him. But she was, like, already there. Like, you know, and she didn't want to, like, inconvenience anybody. Like, you know what I mean? So it's, like, so she did it, but she felt, like, gross about it after.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's, like, but it's, like, you know, there's a gray area there because it's like she did do it, like she didn't have to do it, you know what I mean? But it's
just,
like,
you know, she'd prefer to be able to like pick her own partners,
yeah,
and have more control,
so
just like any like director in Hollywood, you know,
then
who
yeah,
doesn't want to be told what to do by the producer.
and then she says that, like, you know, she said like her recommendation if you want to be doing porn or like watch porn is like to go the OnlyFans route or her like website route, which is called Centerfold. But so she owns this website that people can like post their nudes and you can buy people's nudes and jerk off to them, and people will still spin her what she said about like the porn industry and make it sound like she's just like anti-porn now, and they'll like write like headlines and they're like, ex porn star like Lana Rhoades like thinks porn should be banned or whatever, and it's like,
Right.
no, that's not what she said. Like she like,
yeah, it's
you
the
know,
same with this Quentin headline. Like the way they phrased it made it sound like
Yeah.
he was saying that sex isn't part of his vision of cinema. What he means is like in his vision, like in his world, but like the way you can contort things, it can make it sound like he's saying like he doesn't like sex scenes in any movie, or doesn't think there should be sex scenes in any movie, and it's just for clicks. It sucks that that's the way like journalism is now.
yeah.
But that's the world we live in. People need those clicks, so you know, you gotta lie sometimes.
Well, it's not even necessarily like for clicks, like it's like to sell this narrative. It's like it sounds good to be like, oh, see, like this girl who was a porn star,
Right.
she doesn't think porn is good, like,
Yeah, they might be doing it for like more political reasons.
yeah, so it's like they're not like it's not like honest, because if you
either way they're
if you
fucking
look into
scam
it,
artists.
that's not what she meant. Like she doesn't think like, you know, being nude or like jerking off to porn, like, you know, nude photos is bad. She just thinks that, like, you know, the industry has a lot of room for, you know, negative vibes, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and like,
Also, it was like a nuanced interview.
yeah, it incredibly nuanced.
Wow.
Wow.
Not possible. Sorry.
Yeah, like it's not all or nothing. It's not like you're gonna
Is it a 1 or a 0?
yeah.
0? Report. 0. Lana Rhoades says 0 on porn. It's like these people are so binary. Like they can only think along party lines. It's sad. But yeah, that's what happens. I mean, what's worse? Is it worse to be doing it for political reasons, or do you think it's more scummy to do it just for the clicks, for the money?
Well, I think it's like more scummy to do it for money, because if you're just like doing it for political reasons, you're probably just like dumb.
Yeah, like you are still passionate and believe you're doing the right thing.
And you believe you're doing the right thing, and like you're just kind of like letting you just want to like prove your point, you know. But if you're doing it for clicks, then it's like you're kind of like malicious, I think.
Yeah, you're like more of a bad person.
Yeah.
Right. But I almost like feel like that's better still than the political person.
Than being dumb.
Because at least that person, I know I can reason with them. Like I know there's some sort of give and take and leeway. Like I can either pay them off, or I can convince them that what they're doing is wrong. Maybe. As with the political person, it's like, good luck, you know, changing their mind on this like thing that they've literally like subscribed their personality to. That's tough.
Yeah.
To like actually make any kind of headway with that type of person. But yeah, I guess before we go, we should touch on one last piece of news. That was a good talk, but I do want to leave some room for discussion on the Harry Potter reboots. Your thoughts?
I'm excited about it, to be honest.
Me too.
I'm like so confused why so many people are against
They're
it.
grouches.
It's like, just get over it. You can still, like, the way that these people act and like talk about it, it's like as if it's gonna be illegal to watch the first like 7 movies or the 8 movies. Like, now that the new one's out, like, they're being all erased.
Yeah, they're being
not deleted, burned, illegal,
Yeah.
banned. Like, that's how they're acting, and it's like, you can still watch the original movies.
Yeah, I think some people have anxiety over the feeling that they're being replaced.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't have to be the way you look at it.
Yeah. And it's just like, it's such a good piece. I just really hope that they are really follow the books really closely. I want it like a reenactment, like page by page,
Right.
word for word reenactment of the book.
That's where its novelty will come in.
That's what I want.
Yeah, that's where the appeal factors in. Is how faithfully they can actually replicate the books, because the originals made a lot of changes.
Yeah.
And a lot of them were fine changes or necessary changes, but it would be kind of cool to see a really well done, detailed, thought out kind of depiction of all the events in the books.
Yeah, I want like everyone to be younger. Like, I want Snape to be younger. I want like Snape, Remus,
All the adults.
all the like Sirius, all the adult, like Molly, Arthur.
Yeah, why are they so ancient?
I
in the
want
original?
everyone to be like 30. Like, because that's how old they would be in the books.
Right, you kind of forget that reading the books, but yeah, James and Lily died when they were like 21.
Yeah.
They were fresh out of school. They had Harry like right after school, and then they got yacked.
Yeah.
They got. They didn't wait around. Voldemort didn't wait around 20 years.
Yeah, they look really old in the movie.
Yeah, like they supposedly died when their son was like 1 or something, and they look like looks like she's going through menopause.
Yeah, so I want
His hair's
and
thinning.
I doubt this is gonna happen, but I want Adam Driver to play Snape.
Yeah.
I doubt it, but
Don't count yourself out. You know.
I would die. I think everyone would die.
I think he's being rumored to play Reed Richards in the Marvel universe now, which is like, if they're gonna do anything to reignite my excitement about Marvel, then like cast Adam Driver.
That's true.
Okay, like I'll watch that.
Yeah.
He's the new like lead in a superhero movie from Marvel. Okay.
I'm there.
Yeah, I'll check it out. So same goes for this Harry Potter thing. Like, I think they do gotta go after some bigger fish if they want to garner some excitement. What I hope they don't do is change a lot of the characters, because a lot of people have been discussing on Twitter again, like, like Cho Chang, like yeah, she's racist. Can you believe they called her Cho Chang? They gotta change her name. And then, I'm fine if they want to change like ethnicities of the characters, like if they want to make Hermione black or whatever, like that doesn't bother me. But it's like, if you're going to like change the characters' names,
No.
or like anything else, just don't.
Yeah.
Like, they, like obviously like Seamus Finnegan, he's got to be fucking Irish. Like, they can't make him like, Puerto Rican or some shit. Like, he's fucking Irish. Like, so like, certain characters who have like established histories, like, don't just don't change anything. Like, I want it to be a 1-to-1 to the book. If you read the book and watch the show, it should be able to like match up.
I wonder if like why is there so much like Harry Potter stuff coming out recently when like J.K. Rowling is like canceled?
Well, she's not canceled, like, it's just weirdos on Twitter who think she is, but
Yeah.
obviously she still makes money,
But like,
and like the people are going to go where the money goes. These
Is she gonna
corporations,
be-
none of these corporations like actually believe in any of this shit.
I know, but
They're just going with whatever the fucking
is she gonna be
flow
like
is.
involved in the writing the show?
I don't know.
I just doubt it, because like, remember like that like little documentary that like the Harry Potter documentary that came out
Oh
like a
yeah,
while ago,
like the In Memoriam.
and then they were like Like any scene that had J.K. Rowling in it, they were like, "This was filmed in 2017."
Yeah, they had to really
before,
clarify.
before she tweeted that tweet, you know what we're talking about.
Yeah, they had all new footage of all the other actors, but whenever they cut the JK, which is very minimal,
It would be like they had like a disclaimer, like, "Oh, don't worry, this was before
it's like old ass footage.
she said that."
She doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah,
She died.
Yeah,
She died the minute the minute before she tweeted that tweet. Like the minute before her thumb touched the tweet button on that first tweet, she had a heart attack. Her heart stopped and she keeled over and fell in front of the train, and she splattered across the walls into a billion pieces.
mm-hmm.
And she never said any of that transphobic shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's what these people want, like that's the reality they want to live in.
Uh-huh.
But JK actually has a mind of her own and thoughts and wants to share them with people, and she's not afraid to take some heat.
Mm-hmm.
So it's people are obviously going to be pissed, but they can stay pissed, honestly. I mean, Harry Potter's not going anywhere. The chick created a fucking mega franchise, uber money-making vibe. She personally handcrafted the text for magic. The idea of wizards and witches is now forever linked to her universe. There was really no strong definitive cultural zeitgeist before she came along. Obviously, Lord of the Rings, Gandalf's a wizard, but the concept of a witch and wizard society, that you as a child could, you read the books as a kid, you're like, I want to live there. I want to live in this secret society where magic exists, and there's all these places, these locations like Hogwarts, Hogsmeade, freaking Diagon Alley, the Burrow, all these different places that she created this entire universe. And that is what people now think of when they think of magic and shit. Mm-hmm. So good job, JK. That's not going away anytime soon. Yeah. She could fucking probably I don't know, she could probably get away from some dark shit and still be profiting off this shit until she's an old elderly woman, frail in her bed. Yeah, because regardless of what you think of her or whatever, she said some stupid shit or whatever. I don't think you should let it ruin the whole franchise for you. Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Yeah.
If you did that for every actor or every writer who ever did something fucked up, there'd be it's just exhausting to try to keep track of every piece of media that was ever created, every piece of art, and then retroactively research the the person who made it. Just stop thinking about it so hard. Just enjoy Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Just enjoy magic. Chill out. So yeah, hopefully they do a good job. HBO, they'll sling some money behind it. It won't be like a Netflix production that's get
God.
in and get out.
Thank God. If it was Netflix, I wouldn't watch it.
I would still watch it.
I don't have any faith in Netflix whatsoever.
Yeah, no, I would be scared if it was Netflix, because they put out the trashiest shows with the lowest budgets, and they would try to skimp on the VFX for sure. And the VFX are integral to this. They have to be good. Mm-hmm. That's one of the reasons why the first movies were so well received, because they really brought to life the idea of magic. And I feel like that's kind of why the new ones don't really connect as well. Because I feel like the effects in the new ones are worse. The Fantastic Beasts movie.
I just feel like Fantastic Beasts is bad because the two main characters are just so dry.
Yeah, I kind of liked what's his face?
Eddie Redmayne.
Eddie Redmayne. Yeah, I kind of liked him initially, in the first one. He's kind of quirky. He's kind of a retard, and I can relate to that. He doesn't always he's not always the smoothest chap, So it's he's more invested in his work, and he's really passionate about what he does, but he's kind of stupid when it comes to socializing and stuff. So I kind of related to that a bit, and I was kind of I really like Eddie Redmayne too. Like, I think he's a really good actor.
Yeah, I like him too.
But like they needed to fill him out with other characters, you know, to support him, like other interesting characters, and like they really didn't. Like I liked his friend a little bit, and I liked Queenie. She was kind of cool, but I mean, when you go up against the original series, Harry Potter, there's so many good characters, and there's this huge like rich world, and it really helps like episodically that it takes place at a school because like each year new adventure, like you know year 2 basilisk, year 3 werewolf, year 4 game, the games. It's like there's always a thing. It's very clear like what's happening. Whereas like yeah, you just have these kind of like offshoot beast movies where the animals are kind of like the focus, and it's like the animals were never like the focus of like the Harry Potter. The original series was more just like magic in general, and the fight between Harry and Voldemort. But like yeah, when you make the animals like the center focus, it's kind of like it draws your eye to the CGI a lot. Like you see like a CGI rhino running around on a lake. That's like what I remember from the Fantastic Beasts movie. It's like him chasing around like large, like slightly different animals. They're kind of like art animals, but they're like not. And I just wish they had actually gotten a rhino and like dressed him up with like an extra horn or something. Like that might have been cool or memorable. But you have this like giant CGI like abomination running around. It just feels like a cheap Marvel movie.
Yeah.
It's like this doesn't feel magical. Like I'm not wowed by this.
Yeah.
Like the basilisk and the second Harry Potter movie. Most of that was done practically. They actually built a fucking huge ass puppet with like snarling fangs and this giant animatronic. It was like the T-Rex from Jurassic Park. And then they incorporated CGI shots here and there, but very sparingly, only when they absolutely needed to. And a lot of the tension was created when you didn't see the snake. They did the whole Jurassic Park shit with the dark shadows and made it really ominous and scary. When you just have like a fucking floodlight on this like CGI rhino in the middle of like whatever park they're in, you can just see it. It's like not that amazing. Like I'm kind of like just waiting for the next scene.
Damn. Yeah.
So they need to recapture the magic. I think it's been mishandled, and no small part due to J.K. herself. She wrote the Fantastic Beasts movies. She wrote the screenplays, and she was not able to like replicate. She's not a good screenwriter. Like she's not able to replicate the same style of she can write a damn good book, but I think the format is really good. I just kind of like wish they had maybe done a new set of kids like now or something and tried to make like a Harry Potter show. Like
I don't agree with that. I'm not interested in. I think that's the reason why for me like the Fantastic Beasts movies don't really like work. It's because I don't care about anyone else. I just want to like the reason what like for me like what makes like movies or like books or TV shows like really good is like yeah, obviously like the vibe, but like I just care about like the characters and like their stories and their like arcs and narratives, and I kind of see like the universe that they're in and just kind of like background and like supports that the story and like the emotional arc. You know what I mean?
yeah, you have to like the characters
And like
first.
the characters. And so like I just feel like yeah, like I like obviously the world is like amazing and really cool, but it's like I just like yeah, like it's like secondary to like it's like you need the world for the story, but it's like the story is like the thing that
Right.
I'm there for. If
Like
that
the
makes
friendship
sense.
between Harry, Ron, and Hermione.
Yeah, like
It's like
I'm
the
there for the
core
yeah.
of the film.
I love the whole idea of, like Harry being like the chosen one. Like, you know what I mean? And like a little boy like or like a teenage boy like defeating this like evil like monster, like you know what I mean, like type of situation. And like I love just like all like the stuff about his parents and everyone's friendships and romances and stuff. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's really well built out.
Yeah, and it's like, of course, like, it needs like the wizarding world as its like base for all of that to work. But it's like, I don't really want to just like watch like other people have like stories, or it's like what's gonna be like bigger than that, like than like Harry Potter's story.
Yeah,
Like Harry Potter like saved the wizarding world like from like this crazy.
I know it's a challenge. I feel like I'm optimistic. Like I feel like if put in the right hands, something cool could be done with it. Like Star Wars, you know, like the original story was like Han, Luke, and Leia, but there are ways to like derive more stories out of that universe. Like maybe eventually redo, you know, Harry Potter, remake it more fleshed out.
I think that's why
But
people
there
like.
could also be a cool show too.
I think that's why people don't like the new Star Wars, is because it like kind of like just like erases like what happened in like the first one.
Well, it could have been good. Like I feel like the first the Force Awakens and The Last Jedi were both solid movies. Like, I mean, Last Jedi definitely had like it was way too long, and all the scenes with Rose and Finn unfortunately were terrible, and they really fucked up Finn's character. But the core of it, you know, Kylo and Rey's relationship, I felt was really strong. They set it up really well.
That's like another example of like just like a story of like with like about characters and like people
Yeah.
that is like it's like it needs the background like for its like base like to make sense, but like that is like why I like it, like the, you know, the characters, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Like
It's
you
all about the
need-
characters.
like you need like because I just really love the whole idea of like, yeah, Kylo and Rey, and like, you know.
I saw some tweet where they're like, Adam Driver single-handedly forged the character of Kylo Ren out of thin air. when he was presented the script, he somehow manifested like an emotional like arc for the guy, even though it wasn't even like in the page. Like, and it's so true. Like I feel like he is like the reason why that actually works.
It's so true.
Yeah.
It's true. Because, yeah, Kylo is, like, just, like, really dry and, like, evil. Just,
Yeah, like
you
if
know?
you actually look at the character like as it's written, like it just takes a really good actor to like actually make you care about him.
That's so funny. And they're like, he's single-handedly forward.
Yeah, he's the best thing about those movies for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, it launched a great career for him. I mean, he was already doing well before those movies, but you know that like launched him into like superstardom.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm kind of there for any movie that has Kylo. There's some new action movie coming out with him, and I'm like, I'll check it out for sure.
I know. He, like,
I don't care.
he steals the show.
Yeah, actors are so important. You know, they make or break the movie. Yeah, actors and writing, of course. But yeah, you're right. I think everything else is kind of like set dressing and like window dressing for like serving the characters.
Yeah, I that's kind of why I think it's someone like said there's like a negative review about Game of Thrones or like House of the Dragon that was like oh, this is just like a soap opera but with dragons. And it's like, yeah. It's like, exactly. That's why it's so good.
It's like this is just like a really well written like really high budget soap opera with dragons.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, you got it.
Yeah, like that's another one where it's like, yeah, like, man.
This is just like anything is anything is anything. Like you're just like mixing words together now. You don't even know what you're even saying. You just want to be mad.
Yeah.
All right, I think that'll do it for the end of the podcast. What do you think, hun?
Sure.
We went a little over time.
What?
We went a little bit over.
Oh man. Okay.
Do you have anything else to say about Harry Potter?
No.
Okay. Yeah, me neither. I'm excited for it. I think it'll be sick. I think I actually have a lot more to say, but I don't know. I don't want to go over.
Just say it.
I start to get anxious once we go over an hour. I just think it would be cool to see like the new font they use, because you know we all know the classic Harry Potter spindly lightning bolt font.
Mm-hmm.
But like now they're gonna have a new title. It'll say Harry Potter, but it'll not look the same. So what's it going to look like? How do you reimagine a world that was so vividly imagined in the first place?
I saw a tweet or something about like Harry's like lightning scar and how it doesn't say in like the books that it like looked exactly like that, kind of like a lightning bolt.
Right.
It kind of could be interpreted as like it looks like how lightning actually looks like when it like strikes, you know.
It's not the artistic rendition of a lightning bolt. It's like an actual almost photoreal lightning bolt.
Yeah,
Right.
that could be cool if they did that in the show.
It looks less like a trademark, like
And it looks like more
yeah,
like
more natural,
like more like more natural, like more like yeah, like something actually happened.
like a scar, like parts of it are faded off or like fading off, like the ends. Yeah, I saw like a piece of concept art where someone did that, and it actually looked pretty cool.
I'd be for that.
Yeah, I think they should change like the look of the scar for sure. Yeah, they should honestly change everything, like just a little bit. Like they shouldn't try to replicate anything. Like if they some people are saying like as long as they stick with the original castle, like I'm good, or as long as they keep the original
What?
music.
That's like
And it's like, what are you
retarded.
talking about? This is a
No,
reimagining.
I want to see like what they're gonna do with the book.
I know. I'm so glad these people like aren't in charge. You know what I mean? Because it's like you just know like they make the worst decisions. Because it's like you want to see a new. That's the whole reason of doing it again. It's not like we fucked it up the first time. We're trying to fix it. It's just like we're
like a new interpretation.
yeah. We just want to see it through a new lens and just have a refresh on it. It's like someone else telling it. Like like everybody tells a story differently. So it's like
Yeah.
Back in the
I
day, we
would
had
be,
storytellers.
Like, so excited. I honestly
for
feel
TV.
like I'm like really smart about. I have really good ideas for things, and like it would be so fun to like be in charge of like making like a live action Harry Potter.
Dude, yeah, making movies is the most fun thing ever. Like, that's why I do it. It's fucking sick. You get to decide like every like aspect of like everything that's on screen, like every word that's said, every like vibe that you put out, like every little microcosm of detail can be scrutinized and displayed just how you like it. It's pretty cool. It's like the most imaginative, like creative, like process. Because I feel like film hits all the walls. You have like sound, you have painting, imagery, you have acting, you have writing. Like all those things are good like individually, but like film brings them all together. So you get to have a little bit of each. And yeah, I mean, I really think they killed the original series. The last few movies, the color grade went really hard in kind of a sickly, gross territory, which I hate. But that doesn't ruin the vibe, the whole experience. I just wish the colors were better. Because you watch the first two movies, and you're like, oh, those colors. They're so... In the third one, too. The third one has really good color correction, even though it's darker. But after that, they kind of, like, forgot what they were doing. And kind of was doing an imitation of the third movie. The cinematography just wasn't as good. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that the movies are great. And this new series can be different. It can be a different take on established things that we know and love. And I think that can be really fun and worthwhile. And people should get on board because it's going to happen whether you like it or not. So get positive. Okay. If it sucks, then we'll talk about it, and we'll shit all over it, and that'll be fun too. But let's try to have an open mind, Mm-hmm. Let's try to believe that there's some hope in the world, please. Gosh. Yeah. Can you imagine like a new Harry Potter theme?
Damn,
that's a tough act to follow. That's kind of why I like it, because it's like a challenge, like when I think about this, it's like I don't think about it in like a cynical way. I'm thinking about like that's a tough act to follow. Like they really got to come correct. Mm-hmm. So what do you do? And like that's just an exciting prospect. But yeah, the idea of like reusing the music is like, you might as well not even make the show.
Yeah.
Like people were talking about like, oh, they should cast like Harry as like James, or they should cast like Daniel Radcliffe as James, and like cast Rupert Grint as Dad Weasley. No.
I don't want.
Stop.
I don't want to like think about the old movies.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Thank you, babe. Don't remind me of the old movies. If anything is like the old movies, even though they were great, I'm not gonna like it.
I don't want it to be like relying on like the old like fans of the movies to prop it up. I want it to be like good on its own.
Because there's a whole generation of kids who I feel like aren't as in tune with the Harry Potter shit. Mm-hmm. I mean, I wouldn't know because I'm not a kid anymore. But like, I'm imagining that like kids probably don't like kids now. Mm-hmm. They probably don't really care that much about Harry Potter.
Yeah, they're gonna have to like appeal to like younger Gen Z and like the new like Gen Alpha. I think it's like the one after.
Oh wow, I didn't even know that. Damn, I'm getting old. Yeah, these Harry Potter movies, they're fucking ancient. They're like 25 years old now. That's old news.
No, they're not.
Basically.